بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد، أيها الأخوة الأفاضل، أسعد الله سبحانه وتعالى أوقاتكم بكل خير، ونسأل الله جل وعلا أن يفقهنا في الدين، وأن يعلمنا تأويل كتابه، ونكمل بعون الله تبارك وتعالى ما ابتدأناه من سورة قاف.
بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله أما بعد. The Shaikh began by praising Allah Azza wa Jal and sending salutations of peace and blessings upon our Nabi. And he said, you are respected brothers, inshallah. I hope that Allah gives you blessing in your time, in your awqat, and that He, inshallah, gives us all success in the deen, and that Allah teaches us the ta'weel of His kitab.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يقول الله تبارك وتعالى: ولقد خلقنا الإنسان ونعلم ما توسوس به نفسه ونحن أقرب إليه من حبل الوريد. ولقد خلقنا الإنسان أي جنس الإنسان، وربنا سبحانه وتعالى هو الخالق. وقوله خلقنا من باب التعظيم، فإن العرب إذا تكلم المتكلم كالملك وصاحب المنصب العظيم والمكانة العظيمة، فإنه يتكلم بنا الفاعلين، نا، خلقنا، عملنا، أمرنا. واضح؟ وليس هذا كما يقال إنه من باب التثليث، لا، الله يقول قل هو الله أحد، لذلك قوله ولقد خلقنا يعني من باب التعظيم. نعم.
So the Shaykh began, Ikhwani, by mentioning the ayah number 16, and verily we created mankind, and we know what his nafs makes from the wiswas, tawaswisu, and we are closer to him than his jugular vein. He went on to explain that this insan is talking about the jins of the insan. Allah has created the human being, and that is because Allah, He is Al-Khaliq. Allah is the one who creates. So when it says here in the plural, khalaqna, with the na, he said that this is for a ta'zeem, we, the royal we. It's what they call it in English. He said because the Arabs, in their language, if the mutakallim, or the person who is speaking, if he's speaking like a king or someone who has a powerful position, the Arabs would use this way of expressing themselves to show a ta'zeem. So when Allah said khalaqna, Allah is the one who created, Allah. But He uses this as for ta'zeem, to show that He's great. And it is not what the people claim concerning the Trinity, the tathlith, that they'll say Allah said we, and He means three. And that's why Allah said it in the Quran in Surah Al-Ikhlas, say He, Allah is ahad, Allah is one. So this is for ta'zeem. Fadli ya Shaykh.
ونعلم ما توسوس به نفسه. وما يجري يا إخواني، ما يجري في النفس 5 أشياء. نعم.
And then he wanted us to explain, and we know ma tuwaswisu bihi nafs. The Shaykh said, what is inside of a person's nafs, his self, wa yajri fiha, what goes it, are 5 different things.
الأول الهاجس، وهو ما يلقى في النفس ويجري فيها، يعني بداية الإلقاء، بداية الفكرة. واضح؟ بداية الفكرة يسمى في اللغة هاجس.
He said the first thing is, you know, when you think about something, you get an idea about something, when it first comes to your mind, that's the first thing that comes in the nafs. You get an idea, that initial idea that comes to your mind, that's what's being referred to here.
مثال: لو مرت امرأة فإن الشيطان أول ما يبدي لك انظر إليها. هذا بداية الفكرة، اسمه هاجس.
An example of that is a woman. A woman passes by someone, and the shaitan, he says and suggests to that person, look at her. He said that's what this is talking about, the hajis. That first idea when shaitan says, look at her, this is what is the example of this.
وكل معصية فبداية فكرة المعصية تسمى هاجس.
And every sin, the initial thought about that sin, the first thing that comes to your mind concerning that sin, that's what this is referring to. The first thought, the initial thought.
وإذا استمر التفكير قليلا اسمه خاطر. وهذه المرتبة الثانية.
The second thing is the khatir. And what is that? When the first idea comes to you, if you keep thinking about that thing, you keep thinking about it, they call that the khatir. So that's the second thing that's in the nafs from the 5. That's the second. It's called the khatir.
ثم الثالث حديث النفس وهو الوسواس، وهو ما يتردد يذهب ويعود يذهب ويعود. هذه الفكرة اسمه وسواس أو حديث النفس. هذا الثالث.
And then the third thing is the wiswas. The wiswas. Or they call it hadithun nafs. He said what that is that thing that it goes, it comes back, it goes, it comes back. It'll go for a minute and come right back. That's the third thing from the 5 that's in the nafs. Hadith al-nafs al-wiswas.
والرابع هو الهم، بمعنى أنه يريد أن يفعل لكنه ما عنده عزم قوي. يريد أن يفعل، يعني مرت امرأة فعنده هم أنها إذا اقتربت ينظر إليها لكنه ما فعل.
Number 4 is the hum. The hum. And that is, he wants to do that thing. All of those things, the first idea came, and then he kept thinking about it, and now he has hadith and nafs. Now the 4th thing is hum. He wants to do that thing. He wants to do it. But he doesn't want to do it really. He wants to do it, but it's not like 100%. تفضل.
الخامس العزم، وهو قصد الفعل بقوة. قصد الفعل بقوة، وهو عازم أن يفعل هذا الأمر.
The 5th and final thing is the azm. The azm. And that's, he's going to do it. He has the goal and the objective. His objective is to do that thing, and the objective, the desire is very strong to do it.
الآن عندنا 5: هاجس، خاطر، حديث نفس الوسواس، وهم، وعزم. ما التي يحاسب الله عليها؟ واضح؟ نعم.
So we have 5 things in the nafs, 5 things tajri fiha. The first one is the bidayah, the hajis. Number 2, the khatir. Number 3, hadithul nafs, the wiswas. Number 4, the hum. Number 5, the azm. The Shaykh said, now the question is, which one of these 5 do Allah make you accountable for?
الأربعة الأولى لا يحاسب الله عليها. لا يحاسب الله عليها. نظرت إلى مرت امرأة فجاء الهاجس وقال انظر إليها، أو رأيت مالا فيقول لك خذ هذا المال، أو قل كذا، أو افعل هذه المعصية، ثم تردد في خاطرك، ثم يعني زاد قليلا، لكن ما عندك قصد قوي للفعل. هذا كل المراتب هذه لا يحاسب الله عليها.
So the Shaykh said the first 4 Allah doesn't hold you accountable for the first four. So an example, like for the Hajjs, the woman comes, it said, look at her. There's some money, you get an idea. Shaitan says, take that money, get it, take it. All four of these first four, Allah doesn't make you responsible for those first four. تفضل.
ويحاسب الله على العزم وهو القصد المؤكد. ما الدليل على ذلك؟ قوله صلى الله عليه وسلم: إذا التقى المسلمان بسيفيهما فالقاتل والمقتول في النار. قالوا يا رسول الله، هذا المقتول، هذا القاتل آثم، فلماذا المقتول؟ قال: كان حريصا، يعني آزما على قتل صاحبه. واضح؟
So the Shaikh, he said that the fifth one is the one that you are responsible for. The person who has the azam and he has the qasd, for sure he wants to do it. This is the one that Allah Azza wa Jalla will make muhasabah and hold you accountable for it. He said, how do we know that? It's the dalil of the hadith of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which he said, if two Muslims meet each other with their swords in order to kill each other, then the one who murdered will be in the hellfire, and the one who was murdered will be in the hellfire. When the companions, Radwanullahi alayhim, heard that, they said in amazement, Ya Rasulullah, this man killed the other man. He killed him, the murderer, and that one is murdered. The Nabi told them, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the one who was murdered, he was trying to kill the murderer. He was trying to kill the murderer. So he had that azm, that desire.
واضحة.
No.
فالله تبارك وتعالى يقول: ولقد خلقنا الإنسان ونعلم ما توسوس به نفسه. كل الخواطر والهواجس هذه الأمور مراتب القصد كلها يعلمها، ولا يحاسب سبحانه وتعالى من فضله وكرمه ولطفه ورحمته، لا يحاسب إلا على الأخير وهو العزم.
So again, the ayat, Allah knows the waswas of the people that they have in their nafs. And He subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows about it, and yet He doesn't make any muhasabah and make people responsible for it. And that is because of His fadl. And that is because of His karam. And that is because of His ihsan to the human beings. And that's from the mercy that He shows upon the people.
ونحن أقرب إليه من حبل الوريد. حبل الوريد هو المحيط بالحلقوم، هذا حبل الوريد. فالله يقول: ونحن أقرب إليه من حبل الوريد. وهنا المفسرون على قولين. أصح الأقوال أنه نحن أقرب إليه بملائكتنا، فالملائكة قريبة جدا من الإنسان، أقرب إليه من حبل الوريد.
So the ayah said, we are closer to Him than His own jugular vein, the well-known jugular vein that is inside of your neck. So Allah Azza wa Jal is closer to the person than His own jugular vein. And the mufassirun of the Quran, they give 2 points of view concerning what is this. We are closer to Him. Who was meaning that? He said that the most sahih position is talking about the malaika. The angels are closer to a person than their own jugular vein.
ولهذا على المسلم أن يخاف من كل تفكير سيء يقصد به ويعزم عليه، فإنه حتى لو لم يحصل فإن الله يحاسبه.
So from this, we understand that it is the responsibility of every Muslim to be afraid even about the thoughts that he has. Because your thoughts, you can be held accountable for the bad thoughts that come to your mind. So you have to be aware of that, and you have to be afraid of that.
الآن أسألكم سؤالا.
I want to ask you a question right now.
رجل أراد أن يسرق بيتا
There's a man who wanted to steal a house.
فذهب في الليل
He went at nighttime.
فلما وصل إلى البيت
When he arrived to the house,
وجد الناس جالسين
he found people sitting in the house.
فرجع.
So he came back.
هل يستحق الإثم أو لا؟
Does he deserve, is he sinning or he's not sinning?
مع أنه لم يسرق.
Although he didn't steal anything, he turned around and didn't steal anything. Is he sinning or not?
نعم. طيب ماذا نسمي هذا؟
What do we call that?
من الخمسة.
From the 5 that we went through, which 5 is this one? Which one?
هذا العزم.
Al-Azm.
هذا العزم. أحسنتم جزاكم الله خير.
He said, good job.
إذ يتلقى المتلقيان عن اليمين وعن الشمال قعيد هذان ملكان يقعدان للإنسان فيسجلان كل شيء عليه ويكتبان كل ما يعمل وهو قعيد أي ملك قاعد فهو يحسب عليه ألفاظه وأفعاله لكن الأفعال والأقوال التي تحتمل الحلال والحرام أما المباحات اختلف فيها العلماء.
Okay, the Shaikh, he went on to the next ayat. And the next ayat says, when the 2 angels who are sitting on his right and one on his left, there are 2 angels for every human being who meet. One is on the right and one is on the left. So we should know that there are 2 angels who are sitting on either side of the human being. And they're recording everything. They're recording, they're writing all of the actions that the human being does. And they're also recording all of his statements and all of the things that he does. The things that he does. There are things that he does that are halal, and there are things that he does that are haram. As for the things that are the mubahat, there's ikhtilaf between the scholars as to whether or not they write these things.
ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد أي كل ما يخرج من قول فإن لديه ملكان يكتبان ملك يكتب الخير وملك يكتب الشر نعم.
So the next ayat, that human being never says any word that comes out of his mouth, except that it's going to be written down by one of these 2 angels. So every time something comes out of his mouth, an angel is writing down what he said of khair, and another angel is writing down what he said of shar.
وصفة الملكين رقيب عتيد أي ليس هذا رقيب وهذا عتيد لا وإنما هذا رقيب عتيد وهذا رقيب عتيد.
The Shaikh said the characteristic of these 2 angels is that they are raqib, atid. It's not that one name, the one on the right or the left, his name is raqib and the other one's name is atid. He said no. He said that's their characteristic, that they are raqib, watching, and the other one is atid.
رقيب أي حافظ لأعماله محصيها وعتيد أي حاضر لا يغيب.
And the meaning of raqib is the one who is taking your actions into account. And atid is the one who is present. He's present and he's watching what's happening.
وقول الله تبارك وتعالى ما هذه تدل على العموم ما يلفظ أي كل ما يلفظه وهي الخير والشر والمباحات.
So this ayat begins with a thing going on in the grammar that says whatever, ma yalfidhu, anything, everything, whatever comes out of his mouth, it proves that it's a general statement. Anything and everything that comes out of his mouth, whether it is good whether it is bad, and those things are mubah, the mubahat. All of that is being taken into account.
فيجازيه بالخير خيرا وبالشر شرا وأما المباحات فلا يحاسب عليها.
So for whatever good that he does, he'll get rewarded with good. Whatever evil that he does, he'll get rewarded comparable to that evil. As for the mubahat, then that's nothing written.
وحتى الإشارات بالعين أو إشارة باليد أو غير ذلك مما يريد استنقاص أو غيبة الناس أو استهزاء فإن الله يحاسبه.
It should be understood as well that even if a person makes the ishara, like to point, or if a person makes a face, it's not a statement, but he's pointing or he's making a face, and his intention of making that face of pointing is to make ghiba or to make istihza, to ridicule someone, to put someone down. That's also a muhasaba taking place on that thing.
سعد بن أبي السرح هذا أخو عثمان بن عفان من أمه كفر وسب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وسب الإسلام وهرب، فالنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أصدر حكما بإهدار دمه، من وجده يقتله في أي مكان.
So there was a man, his name was Ibn Abi Sarh. He was the brother of Uthman ibn Affan from his another parent, his brother. They didn't have the same mother and father, but he was his brother from either the mother or the father. He had disbelieved and he cursed the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he cursed al-Islam. So as a result of apostating, the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made his blood halal. And he told the people, wherever you find this man, kill him, wherever you find him.
ثم رجع سعد إلى المدينة فدخل في الليل عند عثمان فقال له عثمان ادخل على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في صلاة الفجر فقل يا رسول الله إني تبت إلى الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أنك رسول الله فإن النبي يسامحك.
So the man made it to Al-Medina. This man who did what he did, he made it to Al-Medina and he entered into his brother Uthman during the nighttime. So his brother Uthman told him, tomorrow at the time of Al-Fajr, you should come and enter into the Prophet's chamber. Go to him, wherever he is, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then when you meet him, you should tell him, Ya Rasulullah, I made tawbah. I made tawbah. I bear witness, la ilaha illallah. And I bear witness that you're the messenger of Allah. Say that to him and he'll forgive you.
فلما صلى معه الفجر قام قال يا رسول الله أنا سعد بن أبي السرح أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأنك رسول الله.
So he prayed the Fajr prayer with him behind the Nabi. And then after the Salat, he came and he said, Ya Rasulullah, I am who I am. And I made Tawbah and I bear witness there's no God worthy of worship but you. And I believe and I bear witness you're the messenger of Allah.
فالنبي قد أصدر عليه حكما بالقتل.
The Prophet had told them previously, you kill this man. You kill him, you see him.
لكن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لم يرد عليه أو يقبل توبته في أول الأمر.
So when this man came and he said what he said, the Prophet did not sallallahu alaihi wasallam accept it from him. He didn't say anything.
فسكت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قليلا.
So he remained quiet for a few moments.
ينتظر أن يقوم أحد الناس فيقتله.
He was expecting and hoping that one of the companions would get up on their own and come and kill him based upon what was said before.
لكن الصحابة خافوا أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقبل توبته وسكتوا ولم يقم أحد.
But the companions themselves, they were all, they were afraid. Maybe Allah's Rasul will forgive him and take his tawbah, so they didn't want to kill him like that.
فعفى عنه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forgave him and pardoned him.
فلما ذهب قال أليس منكم رجل رشيد يقوم إليه فيقتله؟
He said to the companions, was there not from amongst you one intelligent person who would get up on his own and kill the man?
قالوا يا رسول الله لو أشرت إلينا بعينك، يعني غمزة.
And they say, Ya Rasulullah, if you wanted us to kill him, why didn't you make a sign with your eyes to get us to do that?
فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم ما كان لنبي أن تكون له خائنة الأعين. النبي ما يغمز.
He told them, it is not permissible. It is not something that is acceptable for any Nabi to do those kind of actions, to make a sign like that with his eye.
ولذلك الله تعالى يقول ويل لكل همزة لمزة.
And for that reason, Allah said in that ayah, woe unto every person who does this with his eye and the person who talks bad about people.
يعني يلمز بالقول ويهمز بالفعل.
The one who says bad things about people, or they make like isharat, they like make signs to put people down.
فهذا قول الله تعالى ما يلفظ من قول، أي القول والإشارات والأفعال كلها محاسب عليها.
So that's the meaning of this ayah, that every statement that a person makes and every action that he makes is going to have muhasabah.
وجاءت سكرة الموت بالحق، أي أن هذا الإنسان الذي قد طغى وتجبر وعصى ولم يرجع إلى الله سبحانه وتعالى الآن جاءته سكرات الموت، شدة الموت.
So the individual who was arrogant, the individual who was haughty, the individual who thought he was all of that, this next ayat is referring to him, and it said, and the drunkard state of death will come with the truth. This drunkard state, when death comes, it has this state, and that state will, the death itself will come with truth and reality.
ذلك ما كنت منه تحيد وتهرب وتتناساه وهو حق.
This is the thing that the person, the next ayat, this is what you used to try to escape. So the meaning of that is, this is the thing you used to try to forget about its reality. This is the thing that you tried to get away from. This is the thing that you tried to deny, that this moment of death is going to hit you.
وكل إنسان تأتيه سكرات الموت وشدته.
Every human being, he's going to be afflicted with this drunken state of death because of the severity of death. When it comes to you, you're liking that everybody will experience that drunken state.
والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كانت سكرات الموت عنده شديدة.
Even the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was dying, the sakarat al-maut, this state, this tough state, it came to him and it was very severe, even on him.
فلما رأت عائشة رضي الله عنها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بسكرات الموت وشدته كانت تطمع أن يخفف عنها، فلما رأت ذلك خافت مثل أن يأتيها مثل ذلك.
And when this was happening to him and the incident of his death, our mother Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, she was overwhelmed with grief and worry because of what he was going through. And even she herself was afraid that even she may die because of the worry that she was exhibiting over him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
والإنسان إذا مات أو عند احتضاره وقبل خروج روحه تظهر له الملائكة.
And the human being, before he dies, the moments right before he totally checks out and he dies, there's an angel that appears to him before he dies.
فإذا كان مؤمنا فإنه ينظر إلى ملائكة بيض الثياب بيض الوجوه معهم حنوط من حنوط الجنة.
If the person was a believer, when this angel appears before him, the angel is going to have white clothes. His look, he himself is going to be white, and he's going to have a kafan, to shroud him, a white shroud to shroud him in.
عند ذلك يفرح بهؤلاء فيحب لقاء الله فيحب الله لقاءه.
So this believer, before he dies and he sees this sight, he's happy to see them. And he, as a result of seeing this, he is excited, he's happy about seeing Allah and meeting Allah after that.
وأما المنافق والفاجر والكافر فإن ملائكة العذاب تأتي عنده فهم في منظر فظيع فيخاف منهم خوفا شديدا فيكره لقاء الله فيكره الله لقاءه.
As for the munafiq or the kafir, before he dies, the angels come to him in a different image, in a different picture, and they come in a way that is very terrifying to this individual and terrorizing to him. So when he sees that, he's going to be very afraid, and he doesn't want to meet Allah. And he's afraid of meeting Allah, and he's not desiring meeting Allah based upon what he sees from them.
فإذا مات الإنسان فإنه يكون أحد اثنين إما مؤمن يموت على الإيمان وإما كافر يموت على الكفر.
And if a person dies, he's one of two people. He's either a believer who died on al-Iman, or he's a disbeliever who died on disbelief.
المؤمن والكافر إذا مات فإن البصر يتبع روحه فتنقلب العين لأنها تتبع الروح.
So the believer as well as the non-Muslim, once they die and the soul comes out, the eyes follow the soul. And that's why they go up in his head. Because when the soul comes out, his eyes follow that, and that's what happens to him.
فتخرج الروح روح المؤمن فتصعد إلى السماء فيقال روح من هذه فيقال روح فلان ابن فلان.
So the spirit of the believer, when it comes out, it goes up to the sky. And as it ascends to the heavens, it is said, whose soul is that? Whose soul is that? And it's a beautiful experience, positive.
فتفتح لها أبواب السماء ثم تصعد إلى الجنة.
So the doors of the heavens open up for that ruh, and he goes all the way up to the Jannah.
فإذا وضع هذا الإنسان في قبره أذن الله لها أن تنزل الروح لأن الروح تحاسب وتنعم في القبر.
So once the people bury that person's body, Allah allows the spirit now to come back down and to go back into the body of the human being, because now the human being has to be judged with muhasabah and taken into account.
وأما الكافر والمنافق والفاجر فإن روحه تخرج كأنها صوف مبلول فيه شوكة، يعني تقطع حتى تخرج من روحه.
So on the other hand, the munafiq, the kafir, the fajr, when they die and the spirit comes out, the spirit is like it has sharp thorns on it and wool that has water in it, so that when it comes out, he's being punished with the physical pain of, the thorns coming out. So it comes out because that's part of his punishment.
فإذا ارتفعت الروح صعدت إلى السماء فوجدوا أخبث ريحة منها.
So as it goes up and it ascends to the heavens, there is one of the worst smells possible that emanates from the ruh.
فيقال روح من هذا فيقال روح فلان ابن فلان بأخبث اسم له في الدنيا.
It would be said, whose soul is that? And then it would be said, that is the soul of so-and-so, Ibn so-and-so, and he would be called by the worst names that he disliked here in the dunya.
فلا تفتح لهم أبواب السماء ولا يدخلون الجنة.
And the doors of the heavens won't be opened up for him, and that soul won't be allowed to enter into the Jannah.
وتبقى محبوسة في السماء حتى إذا وضعوا جثته في القبر لفت كما يلف الثوب ثم ترمى من السماء إلى الأرض.
And then it would just be in animation, just suspended in animation, and it won't be allowed to enter into the Jannah. But when the people come and they bury his body, it's going to be wrapped up in some cloth, and he's going to be flung and thrown into his body.
ويبقون هكذا في قبورهم إلى أن تقوم الساعة.
And they will remain in their graves in that condition until يوم القيامة.
المؤمن ينعم ويمر عليه الوقت كما بين الظهر والعصر.
The believer will be in there and he will be feeling the ni'mah, good things. And the time that he's in his grave is like the time between al-dhuhr and asr time.
والكافر يعذب في قبره نسأل الله العافية بأنواع العذاب.
As for the non-Muslim, he will be in his grave and he'll be punished with all kinds of punishment. May Allah save us all from that.
قال تعالى ونفخ في الصور والنفخ نفختان على الصحيح من أقوال أهل العلم.
And then Allah Ta'ala said, and then it would be blown into the horn, the sur. The Shaikh said, this blowing is two blowings. There's difference of opinion, but the most authentic opinion is going to be 2 blows into the sur.
النفخة الأولى نفخة الصعق وهي التي يصعق كل من في السماوات ومن في الأرض فلا تبقى نفس إلا صعقت وماتت.
The first nafkha is the one that's going to cause everybody to fall out, everybody to die, everybody in the heavens and everybody in the earth. When they hear this one, everybody is going to be done. Everybody will be finished. The sa'q is going to happen for everybody in the heavens and the earth.
والناس كانوا يعيشون حياتهم الطبيعية يبيعون ويشترون.
When this thing happened, there are going to be some people just living a normal life. They're going to be buying and they're going to be selling. It's just the normal life when this thing comes.
ويأتي أحدهم إلى حوض الإبل يريد أن يمسحه ليجعل فيه الماء فتأتيه الصعقة فهو يقف على حوضه.
There will be a person who will come to the fountain where the camels drink and stuff like that. He'll come to do a normal action, but when this nafkha happens, he's going to just die just like that on the condition, the situation that he's on.
والرجل يبيع الثوب فيقيس الثوب فيمد يده فلا يرجعها.
And there's a person, when this blowing is blown, this guy, this individual is buying or selling material, his thobe. He wants to put his thing in the thobe, and the horn is blown, his hand won't come back. He'll get caught out like that, and he's gonna die just like that in that condition.
فيموت كل من في السماوات.
So everybody in the heavens and everybody in the earth is going to die.
ولا يبقى أحد.
And no one will remain.
ويأمر الله جل وعلا أن يموت إسرافيل نافخ الصور.
And Allah will order that the one who blows into the horn, whose name is Israfil, he is the one who blows into the horn. After he blows into it, Allah will order and command that he also perishes and dies.
فيبقى الله سبحانه وتعالى.
And Allah alone will remain.
ولا يبقى معه أحد.
And no one will be remaining with Allah. No one.
فينادي لمن الملك اليوم لمن الملك اليوم لمن الملك اليوم.
And then Allah will call out, who does the kingdom and the dominion belong to today? Who does the kingdom and the dominion belong to today?
فلا يجيبه أحد.
And no one will answer.
فيجيب نفسه بنفسه لله الواحد القهار.
And Allah will answer himself, and he will say that the dominion today belongs to Allah, al-Wahid al-Qahhar.
كل من عليها فان.
Everybody on the earth will be destroyed, finished.
ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام.
And the face of your Lord, Dhul al-Jalal wal-Ikram, will remain.
ويبقى بين النفخة الأولى والنفخة الثانية 40.
And there will remain 40 Between the first blowing and the second blowing, 40.
يعني المدة بين النفخة الأولى والنفخة الثانية 40 كما جاء عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه.
Abu Huraira mentioned that in the hadith, that when the first horn is blown and then the second horn is blown, Abu Huraira said there would be 40.
قالوا 40 يوما قال أبيت يعني رفضت أن أتكلم.
They said 40 days and he didn't say anything, the Nabi.
40 شهرا قال أبيت.
40 months, the Nabi didn't say anything.
40 سنة قال أبيت.
40 years, he refused and didn't say anything.
لأنه سمع من النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم 40 ولم يسمع المدة كم شهر أو يوم أو كم.
So there is an author in which Abu Huraira said that between the first nafkha and the second would be 40. When the people heard him say that, they said 40 days, Abu Huraira was quiet. They said to him 40 months, he was quiet. They said 40 years, he was quiet. The Shaikh said the reason why he was quiet is because Abu Huraira heard 40 and he didn't hear the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam explain 40 what. So he remained quiet.
فتأكل الأرض أجساد الناس كلهم.
So the earth will eat the bodies of the people.
إلا الأنبياء والشهداء كما دل الدليل.
Except the Anbiya and the Shuhada, the martyrs of jihad, got shahada. And that's what the Dalil said.
ثم إذا أذن الله سبحانه وتعالى بالنفخة الثانية ينزل الله مطرا أبيض ثخين.
And then when the second horn is blown, the second horn, Allah Azza wa Jal will allow some rain to descend from the sky.
ثم تنفخ النفخة الثانية فإذا هم قيام ينظرون.
So when that second horn is blown, the water comes down by Allah's permission with this this rain that the Shaikh described as having this whiteness connected to it. Then at that time, the people are going to come out of the earth. They're going to come out and sprout up alive.
فيقوم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في أول الأمر يقول فأرى موسى عليه الصلاة والسلام متعلقا بالعرش.
The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam will be the first one who comes up. He said, when he comes alive and he comes forward, he's going to already find Musa is hanging on and he's connected to the arsh of Allah already. He's there.
يقول فلا أدري يعني أصعق موسى أم جوزي بالصعقة الأولى.
And the Prophet said, and I don't know when the horn was blown in the first time, did Musa die like everybody else, or was he exempted from dying? He said, I don't know.
فيحشر الناس عند ذلك.
And then this is when the people at that point, after that happens, that's when the people will be gathered together and they start going for the hashr. They all come together.
بسرعة.
And they be coming in at a quick speed.
كأنهم جراد منتشر.
As if they are grasshoppers going all over the place.
والكفار يصيحون يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا.
The kuffar will say, oh, woe unto us, who has been responsible for waking us out of our slumber?
فيقال لهم هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون.
And it will be said to them, this is what Ar-Rahman has promised, and the Mursalun, the prophets, they spoke the truth.
فيحشرون حفاة عراة غرلا.
And so they will be coming forward and brought forth. They will be naked, they will be barefooted, and they will be uncircumcised.
كلهم النساء والرجال.
Men and women.
حتى قالت عائشة يا رسول الله كيف النساء والرجال ينظر بعضهم إلى بعض.
When Aisha heard that, she said, Ya Rasulullah, how is it possible that men and women are going to be brought together like that, and they naked like that, and they're going to be all together?
قال يا عائشة الأمر أشد من ذلك.
He said, Ya Aisha, the situation is going to be a serious one. Like, you're not going to be thinking about that. The nakedness. It's going to be a serious situation.
حتى لو قيل انفجار في هذا المكان مثلا وفيه نار عظيمة وانفجار الإنسان يهرب ما يعرف من يمينه وشماله.
And there would be an explosion, fire, people are going to be running all over the place, to the right, to the left. They're going to be in a state of confusion, not knowing what's going on.
فقوله تعالى ونفخ في الصور يعني النفخة الثانية.
This ayat, وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ, the next second blowing in the horn.
فيقول الله ذلك يوم الوعيد
That is the day Allah said that you have been promised. That's the promised day.
الذي وعد الله سبحانه وتعالى الناس إليه.
This is what Allah has promised the people is going to happen.
واتقوا يوما ترجعون فيه إلى الله.
Allah said, fear the day in which you're going to return back to Allah.
ثم كل نفس يوم القيامة قال تعالى وجاءت كل نفس معها سائق وشهيد.
The next ayah says, and every nafs is going to come, and with that nafs is going to be someone driving it, a sa'iq and a shaheed, a witness over it.
ملك يسوق هذه النفس وملك جاء يشهد عليها.
There will be an angel who will be pushing him to where he has to go, driving him. And then there'll be another angel bearing witness on him, on that soul.
الآن عاين الإنسان حقيقة ما كان يوعد.
Now the human being is going to see the reality of what has been promised.
وعرف أن الأمر حق من الله سبحانه وتعالى.
And he's going to know that what has been promised is the truth from Allah.
لذلك يقول الله تعالى لقد كنت في غفلة من هذا.
And that's why Allah said in the next ayat, verily you were in a state of ghafla. You were not aware. You were not paying attention. You were in a state of slumber and unawareness about this situation.
ألهته الشهوات والملذات.
He was, distracted by the desires and distracted by the,
الملذات والشهوات والأموال والدنيا.
he was distracted by the allurements of the dunya, his desires and the allurement of the dunya, those things that make people, the maladhat, those things that make you what you eat, money, all of those things distracted him.
وهذه الأمور تغشي العين عين الإنسان في الدنيا.
And these things, the desires and this allurement, they cause blindness to the eyes here in the dunya.
فلا يرى إلا ما الشهوات والملذات.
So in the dunya, that's all he sees. That's all what's important to him, his desires in the dunya.
في الآخرة يقول الله فكشفنا عنك غطاءك فبصرك اليوم حديد.
But in the hereafter, Allah is going to mention that he brought sight to his eyes now. They're not blind anymore.
كشف الله حجاب الغفلة.
Allah is going to remove the partition of not being aware. And his sight that day is going to be very sharp. He's going to see the reality of what's going on.
وعاين ونظر إلى الحقيقة التي كان يغفل عنها.
And then he's going to see the reality of what he used to not pay attention to in the dunya.
الملك الذي هو قرين له يكتب ما عليه من سيئات قال الله وقال قرينه هذا ما لدي عتيد.
The qareen, the angel who's responsible for writing his stuff, he's going to say, this is what I have. This is what I have been, writing against you. What I have as like a proof. This is what I have, what you put forward.
فهذا كفره وهذا نفاقه وهذا فجوره وهذا شركه وهذا معصيته نسأل الله العافية.
Like the angel will say, here's his kufr, here's his nifaq, here's his evil deeds, here's all of the things that he has. The angel is going to present that, have it for him.
والناس يا إخواني عند لقاء الله سبحانه وتعالى أنواع.
And the people, when it's time to meet Allah, they're going to be different categories.
الأول الموحد الذي ليس عنده سيئات.
The first one is the muwahid, the person of tawheed, who won't have any sins.
إما لأنه تاب قبل الموت أو أنه عنده أمراض وبلاء كفر الله عنه السيئات.
Maybe because he made tawbah before he died, or he died but he had sicknesses, he had trials and tribulations, so those things clean up his sayyi'at, take him away.
فهذا يدخل مباشرة بغير حساب ولا عذاب.
This one goes straight to the Jannah without any question, without any muhasabah. Go straight to Jannah.
وأما الموحد العاصي فإنه يكون تحت مشيئة الله سبحانه وتعالى.
As for the one who is also, the second one is a guy who has a person who has tawheed and they made sins. But this one is under the mashi'ah of Allah. If Allah sha'a, he'll forgive him. If Allah sha'a, Allah will punish that one.
تحت المشيئة أما أن يغفر له ذنوبه ثم يدخله الجنة أو يعذبه في النار ثم يدخله الجنة وفق حكمته سبحانه وتعالى.
Allah may just forgive him for his sins and put him into the Jannah. Or Allah may put him in the hellfire to burn him and punish him, and then after that put him into the Jannah.
ومنهم من يحاسبه الله حسابا يسيرا.
And from them is the person, the third group, they will have a muhasabah, but it is yasira, it's light and easy.
فيقول الله له تعالى أتذكر ذنب كذا في يوم كذا في ساعة كذا.
Allah say to him, you remember you did this sin at this place and at that time? You remember you did that sin at this place and that time? Allah will make muhasabah for him.
الله يضع كنفه أي ستره عليه فالناس ينظرون إليه لكن ما يعرفون الكلام الذي بينه وبين الله.
Allah will put for this individual who has this muhasabah, that's yasira, he will make it so that the people will be looking at him, but they won't be able to see him. They won't hear what's going on. They won't be able to see what's going on because Allah will cover him.
فيعدد له بعض الذنوب حتى يظن أنه قد هلك.
So Allah will be mentioning to him some of the sins that he committed, and he's going to think he's going to be destroyed.
فيقول الله تعالى سترتها عليك في الدنيا وأنا أغفرها اليوم لك.
Allah will tell him, I covered these sins on you in the dunya, and I'm going to cover them from the people for you today.
وأما الكافر فإنه يؤخذ إلى النار رأسا مباشرة.
As for the kafir, he'll go straight to the hellfire, right away, straight to the hellfire.
لكن يعاتب الله سبحانه وتعالى عتابا وفيه زجر.
Allah will make the mu'atiba. Allah will he would punish him for blaming him and criticizing him for what he did. And in that blaming and criticism is punishment itself, that he has to deal with that.
يقول الله تعالى له كما في صحيح مسلم أيسرك أن تكون لك الدنيا ومثلها معها فتفتدي بها من نار جهنم.
And then as it's been relayed and narrated in the hadith in Sahih Muslim, Allah is going to say to this kafir, would you like that everything that is in the dunya and times that, would you like to be given all of that? And then you hold it, you have ransom, you pay that to be saved. Do you want that? Everything in the dunya and another time, just so that you can ransom it to be saved from the punishment?
فيفرح الكافر يظن أن الله سيخرجه من النار.
So he becomes very happy thinking with this question from Allah that he's going to come out of the Jannah, out of the hellfire, so he gets happy.
فيقول الله كنت أردت منك أقل من ذلك أيسر من ذلك.
Allah will say to him, I wanted from you lesser than that. I didn't want you to give all of the dunya. I wanted less of you than that.
أردت منك لا إله إلا الله.
What I wanted from you was to say, believe there's no God worthy except Allah.
فأبيت إلا الكفر.
And you refuse and you insist to be a kafir.
خذوه إلى النار.
Take him to the hellfire.
إنهم كانوا إذا قيل لهم لا إله إلا الله يستكبرون ويقولون أئنا لتاركو آلهتنا لشاعر مجنون.
And then he read the ayah, and when it was said to them, say La ilaha illallah, they used to be arrogant and they would respond and say, you think we're going to leave our gods for a poet who's crazy?
والصنف الأخير هو المنافق.
The last group of people, these categories, is the hypocrite.
يظن أنه لما كان مع المسلمين أنه مسلم هو في حقيقة الأمر كافر في قلبه.
He is a kafir, concealing inside of himself kufr. But he used to be with the Muslims and they used to think that he was a Muslim, but he was a munafiq, kafir.
فيطلعه الله سبحانه وتعالى على أعماله السيئة والكتب والملائكة ومن يشهد عليه فيرفض كل الشهادات.
And all of his evil deeds will be brought forth, and those things that prove his evil deed, his books of evil deeds, the angels who bore witness, all of that stuff, his account will be brought forth before him.
فيقول يا رب لا أرضى شهيدا إلا نفسي.
And then that kafir munafiq will say, I don't want anything to bear witness against me. My books, the earth, I just want to be my own witness against myself.
فيختم الله على فمه.
And then at that time, Allah will close his mouth and he won't be able to speak.
فلا يستطيع الكلام.
He won't be able to have any kalam.
فتشهد الجوارح.
And then his limbs will start to bear witness.
فتقول اليد يا رب أخذت وضربت.
The hand will start saying, oh my Lord, I took this, I hit that one, and start saying what it did.
واليد أو الرجل تقول يا رب مشيت وخطوت.
And the feet will say, the legs will say, and I walked here and I did this and I did that.
فتشهد كل الجوارح حتى فرجه.
All of this person's body parts are going to bear witness against him, even his private parts or her private part.
اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون.
Allah said, today we will close their mouths and we will allow their limbs to bear witness against them. Their hands and their feet are going to bear witness against them for what they used to do.
وقالوا لجلودهم لما شهدتم علينا.
And they will say to their skins, why have you borne witness against me today?
فيقول أنطقنا الله الذي أنطق كل شيء.
And they will say, Allah who has allowed everything and everyone to talk today has given us the ability to talk. That's why we're bearing witness against you.
فهؤلاء هم الذين يحاسبهم الله سبحانه وتعالى.
So these are the categories of people who Allah is going to hold them accountable with al-hisab yawm al-qiyamah.
عند ذلك يقول الله تعالى ألقيا في جهنم كل كفار عنيد.
At this point, Allah Ta'ala said to those two angels, throw into the Jahannam every kafir and every anid, every disbeliever who is anid, stubborn.
ألقيا في جهنم الخطاب للملكين أو للملك والعلم عند الله جل وعلا.
This order, al-qiyah, can be like those two angels. Throw him, everybody, throw him. It could be to those two angels. It could be to one angel for one angel. Allah knows the reality of who this is being spoken to. Throw him in the Jahannam. Allah knows.
مناع للخير أي كان يمنع الخير ولا يريد الخير ويمنع من يفعل الخير.
He was manna'in lil khayr. Manna', he used to stop. He didn't do good, and he used to stop people from doing good. He was a person who didn't want any good to happen.
فهو لا يريد الخير وأيضا قال معتد أي أنه يستخدم سلطته في منع الخير.
He himself didn't want to do good, and he would use his ability in his situation, whatever he had, to stop other people from doing good as well.
فهذه صفة بعض الكفار الذين يكون عندهم عدم رغبة في الخير أو رؤية الخير وإذا كانت لهم سلطة منعوها بسلطتهم.
So this is a characteristic of the punishment of some kuffar who they themselves don't want good. They don't want to do good themselves. And if they have any positions of authority, they use their position of authority to stop other people from doing good as well.
وللأسف أن بعض المسلمين يكون عنده بعض هذه الصفة.
And unfortunately, you find that some Muslims, they are also the same way.
هو مسلم لكن لا يحب الدروس ولا يحب تنظيم الدروس ولا يحب المؤتمرات.
He's a Muslim. He doesn't like the classes. He doesn't like classes being organized. He doesn't like that they're going to be daurat, these conferences. He doesn't like it.
وإذا تولى السلطة منع ذلك في بلده.
And if he was a person in his country, he got power. This is the thing that he'll do in his country. He'll stop these good things from happening.
معتد مريب. المريب يعني الشاك في دينه.
The murib, he is mu'tadan, he makes a ta'addi, he goes overboard and stops people. And he's also murib, meaning he has doubt. The person is doubt. He has doubt.
والصفة الأعظم سوءا أنه قال الذي جعل مع الله إلها آخر.
And the characteristic of this person who will be thrown into the hellfire by these two angels, the worst characteristic is what's mentioned in the next ayah. The one who has put up and made along with Allah another God to be worshipped along with Allah.
والإله بمعنى المعبود.
And God, ilah, is the one who is worshipped.
فلو عبد حجرا سمي الحجر إلها له.
So if a person worships a rock, then that rock is called an ilah.
والإله الحق هو الله جل وعلا.
But the true ilah is Allah.
كما قال تعالى
As Allah said,
ذلك بأن الله هو الحق.
That is because verily Allah, He is al-haq.
وأن ما يدعون من دونه الباطل.
And what they call on and worship other than Allah is falsehood.
فألقياه في العذاب الشديد المؤلم.
So throw him into the adab, that is severe punishment.
بدأت هنا الخصومة. تبدأ الخصومة بين الشيطان والإنسان. وقال قرينه.
Now the argument, after all of this, the argument starts between him and shaitan. Him and shaitan now are going to start having their argument between themselves.
والشيطان يتبرأ من الإنسان مرتين.
And a shaitan is going to free himself from mankind, from the human being, from the individual. He's going to free himself from people 2 times.
قال قرينه ربنا ما أطغيته. هذه الأولى.
This is the first time. Allah said that shaitan is going to say, his qareen is going to say, my Lord, I wasn't the one that caused him to go astray.
والثانية لما يدخلون النار نسأل الله العافية وقال الشيطان لما قضي الأمر إن الله وعدكم وعد الحق ووعدتكم فأخلفتكم.
The second time shaitan is going to free himself is when the person goes into the hellfire. Shaitan is going to free himself and say, I promised you a lie and I broke my promise. And Allah promised you the promise of the truth and you didn't take it.
قال قرينه ربنا ما أطغيته أي ما أجبرته على فعل المعاصي.
So that shaitan, his qareen, is going to say, oh my Lord, I didn't make him do this evil deeds. I didn't force him to do this.
ولكن كان في ضلال بعيد هو نفسه.
But the reason why he did it is because he was way, way, way astray. He did that on his own.
وفي الآية الأخرى قال وقال الشيطان لما قضي الأمر إن الله وعدكم وعد الحق ووعدتكم فأخلفتكم وما كان لي عليكم من سلطان.
In another ayat, shaitan will say, Allah promised you the promise of truth. And I promised you, and I broke my promise. And I didn't have any sultan over you.
إلا أن دعوتكم فاستجبتم.
All I did was I gave da'wah to you and I encouraged you. I called you and you answered my call.
فلا تلوموني ولوموا أنفسكم.
So don't blame me, but instead blame your own selves.
ما أنا بمصرخكم يعني بمنقذكم وما أنتم بمصرخي.
I can't save you from what you're in and what's going to happen to you, and you people can't save me neither.
إني كفرت وجحدت بما أشركتموني من قبل.
I disbelieve and I reject how you used to make shirk with me along with Allah before.
عند ذلك ينهي الله سبحانه وتعالى الخصام.
At that point, Allah will discontinue this argument between the qareen and the human being.
قال لا تختصموا لدي.
Allah will say, don't argue in my presence.
وقد قدمت إليكم بالوعيد بإرسال الرسل وإنزال الكتب.
When I have already sent to you prophets and messengers.
ما يبدل القول لدي. الكافر في النار والمؤمن في الجنة.
The word, the ruling will not be changed with me. The kafir is going to the hellfire. the Jannah, the believers going to the Jannah. That's not going to change.
ولذلك جاء في صحيح البخاري أن الله جل وعلا يأمر الملائكة أن تأتي بالموت على هيئة كبش.
That's why it's been authentically narrated in Sahih Bukhari that Allah Azza wa Jal will order death, and it will be brought forth, and it will be in the image of a ram. Death will be in the image of a ram.
فينادى يا أهل الجنة فيخافون.
And it will be called out, all people of the Jannah, and they'll get afraid.
يخافون لأنهم يعرفون الموت فيخافون من الموت.
Because they know death, and they are afraid of death.
وينادى يا أهل النار فيشرئبون يفرحون أنهم سيموتون ولا يعذبون.
And then they say, oh, with the death is a ram. It will be said, oh, people of the Jannah, and then they're going to get scared because death, and they know death. Then it will say, oh, people of the hellfire. The people of the hellfire are going to get happy because this is death, and it's going to be finished. So their punishment is finished.
فيذبح الموت.
And then the death will be slaughtered. That ram will be slaughtered.
فيقال يا أهل الجنة خلود فلا موت ويا أهل النار خلود فلا موت.
It will be said, for you people who are in the Jannah, you be in there, you stay in there, and you won't die. And you people are going to go in the hellfire, you're going to be in there, and you won't die. You'll be in there forever.
والله سبحانه وتعالى وعد أن يملأ جهنم كاملة.
And Allah has promised that He's going to fill up the Jannah completely.
وهنا لما جعل الله هذه البشرية وأكثر الناس في النار وإن تطع أكثر من في الأرض يضلوك عن سبيل الله.
And this is important, he said, because from the human race and the human beings, most of them are going to be in the hellfire, most of them. As Allah said in the Quran, and if you were to follow the majority of the people on the earth, they would send you astray from Allah's sabil.
وأكثر سكانها النساء.
And most of the people will be in the hellfire from the human beings. Most human beings will be in the hellfire. And the most people who are in the hellfire are women.
فتأتي الملائكة فتضع في النار أعدادا كبيرة.
So the hellfire, the angels will come and start putting in the hellfire a large multitude and a great number of people.
فيقال يوم نقول لجهنم هل امتلأت؟
And then it would be said, on that day, when the people were in the hellfire, it would be said to the hellfire, are you filled up now?
فتقول هل من مزيد؟
The hellfire said, is there any more to come?
هنا العلماء يقولون هل من مزيد، يعني هي تتساءل هل هناك مزيد أيضا؟
Some of the scholars said that the hellfire is saying, like, you mean to tell me there's more? And he's asking the hellfire, there's more? That's what you're telling me?
والقول الثاني أنها تطلب المزيد، أعطني المزيد أعطني المزيد.
So one is this asking, there's more to come? That's an opinion. Other scholars said that the hellfire is saying, you got some more for me? You want to put some more in here?
وهنا ربنا سبحانه وتعالى يضع القول الثاني أصح.
And from these two statements, the authentic statement is the hellfire is saying, bring it on, bring some more.
لأنها تنتفش وتكبر.
Because with the people being put in there in those large numbers, it can accommodate them. The more people are put in, the more it accommodates them and get bigger and bigger and bigger.
فيخاف أهل الجنة.
So the people of the hellfire, they become afraid. The people of the Jannah, they become afraid. They become afraid of the hellfire because the hellfire is getting bigger.
فيضع الجبار جل جلاله قدمه فيها.
And Allah al-Jabbar, He puts His foot at that moment over the hellfire.
وقدمه حقيقية.
And His foot is real. It's reality. It's real.
لكن لا نعرف كيف تكون.
But we don't know the reality of it. We don't know how it is.
لأنه لا شيء يشبهه.
Because nothing is like unto Allah. Nothing can be compared to Allah.
فإذا وضع قدمه قالت قط قط.
So if Allah puts His head, when He put His foot over the hellfire is going to say, enough, enough.
يكفي يكفي يعني.
It's enough, it's enough.
وتقول هل من مزيد.
And it says, do you have some more?
وأزلفت الجنة للمتقين غير بعيد.
And the Jannah will be brought forth close proximity
قربت.
for the believers. The Jannah will be brought in close proximity for the believers.
غير بعيد من أهلها.
And it won't be far away from the people who deserve to go in it.
فيقال هذا ما توعدون.
And it would be saying, this is what you people of Jannah have been promised.
لكل أواب كثير التوبة والأوبة والعودة إلى الله سبحانه وتعالى.
For every person who was awab, the one who made mistakes and he made tawbah and he repented and he turned back from mistakes, this is what you have been promised.
حفظ أوامر الله فأداها.
And the one who was hafiz, you've been promised it. Hafiz is, he protected, he took care of. He took care of what Allah told him to take care of. What Allah, the awamir, Allah commanded him to do things and he did it. He took care of it. Hafiz.
وحفظ النواهي فتركها.
And the things he was told to do, he did them. And the things that he was told, leave them alone. He abandoned them.
فهذه الجنة لكل أواب حفيظ من خشي الرحمن بالغيب.
The one who was afraid of Ar-Rahman in the unseen. They couldn't see him, but they were afraid of him.
وخشي الرحمن لأن الله سبحانه وتعالى مطلع عليه.
And that's because Allah Azza wa Jalla was looking at them.
وخشي الرحمن ثانيا لأنه لوحده ليس مع الناس.
And also they were afraid of Allah alone by himself. They were afraid of Allah by him.
الناس نقولها مرة ثانية. الناس نوعان.
So the people at that time would be two categories.
من يخشى الله إذا كان في مجتمع.
Okay.
والثاني من يخشى الله في السر.
Okay. All right. So here it says, for the people of the Jannah, this is what you were promised for everyone who used to make tawbah, everyone who was hafiz. He protected those things that Allah told him to do, and he abandoned and he didn't do those things that Allah Azza wa Jalla told him don't do. And then it said, the one who khashya ar-Rahman al-bil-ghayb, the individual, the people of two types of when it comes to the khawf of Allah. There's a person who is afraid of Allah when other people are around. He's afraid of Allah. And then there are the people who they're afraid of Allah when they're by themselves. So they'll get that reward of al-Jannah.
وجاء بقلب منيب يحب الطاعة ويقبل عليها.
And the one who goes to Jannah is the one who comes Yawm al-Qiyamah and he has a heart that used to love obedience. He used to obey Allah. So he go to Jannah.
ادخلوها بسلام.
It would be said, enter into the Jannah bis-salam, with peace.
فالله هو السلام.
Allah, He is as-salam.
والجنة دار السلام.
And the Jannah is the daru, the home of as-salam, the abode.
وليس في الجنة أذى.
And there's no harm in Jannah.
كل أذى في الدنيا فهو ممنوع في الجنة.
Everything that bothers and harms people in this dunya, in the Jannah, it is mamnu', not permissible, not there.
الحرارة أذى في الدنيا ممنوع في الجنة.
The heat of the dunya, not in the Jannah.
وجع الأسنان ممنوع في الجنة.
You're getting a toothache, not in the Jannah.
الصداع ممنوع في الجنة.
Having a headache, not in Jannah.
القلق والخوف ممنوع في
Being
الجنة.
afraid and worried, not in the Jannah.
النوم ممنوع في الجنة.
Going to sleep, you won't go to sleep in Jannah.
لأنه يريد الله منهم أن يتمتعوا كل أوقاتهم.
Because Allah wants all of their time, every second, every minute of their time to be enjoying themselves.
كلوا واشربوا هنيئا بما أسلفتم في الأيام
Allah
الخالية.
said, eat and drink and be merry because of what you used to do in your efforts in the dunya. Be merry in this place.
الجنة فيها ما لا عين رأت.
And the Jannah is what no eyes have ever seen
ولا أذن سمعت.
and no ears have ever heard.
ولا خطر على قلب بشر.
And no human being had the idea. They didn't even think in it. Nobody even thought or imagined what's in the Jannah.
هناك في الجنة ما رآها أحد. أشياء ما رآها أحد.
In the Jannah is what nobody has ever seen.
حتى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Even our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam hasn't seen it.
رأى بعض الأشياء في الجنة.
He saw some things in the Jannah,
لكن ما أعده زيادة ربنا سبحانه وتعالى لم يطلع عليه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
but there are more things that have been prepared in the Jannah that he hasn't and he didn't see.
وقال الله ذلك يوم الخلود.
Allah will say to them in this ayat after all of that, that is the day of khulud. You'll be there forever.
لو جاءك ملك من ملوك الدنيا فقال اجلس في هذا القصر وأنت متنعم في هذا القصر.
If a king of the dunya came to you and said, sit in this castle, you can stay here, and everything in this castle, you will enjoy it.
وأنت وأهلك مستأنسون فرحون بهذا.
And you and your family are happy and you just socializing, cooling out.
لكن يبقى في قلبك قلق وخوف.
But in that condition, in the castle with your family chilling out, still there are some things in your heart that you're afraid, you're worried.
ما تدري متى يخرجك الملك.
You don't know, for an example, when the king gonna come and say, get out.
وربما يغضب عليك الملك فيخرجك.
And maybe you make him upset. So something happens, like he push you out.
وربما يحتاج الملك إلى القصر فيخرجك.
Maybe the king himself is gonna need this castle and gonna put you out because he needs it.
لكن الله سبحانه وتعالى
But Allah, on the other hand,
يوم القيامة يطلع على أهل الجنة.
Yawm al-Qiyamah is gonna look at the people of the Jannah.
يقول يا أهل الجنة هل رضيتم؟
He will say, oh, inhabitants of the Jannah, are you happy and pleased?
قالوا وكيف لا نرضى ألم تبيض وجوهنا؟
They say, how can we not be happy and pleased? Did you not make our faces white?
ألم تدخلنا الجنة؟
Didn't you put us inside the Jannah?
ألم تنجنا من النار؟
Didn't you save us from the hellfire?
قال اليوم أحل عليكم رضواني فلا.
Allah will say, today I will make halal for you my pleasure, my ridwan is for you,
فلا أسخط عليكم أبدا.
and I will never become angry with you again, ever.
ويظهر الله جل وعلا لهم مرة أخرى.
And then Allah will appear, come out to them at another time.
يا أهل الجنة
Oh, people of the Jannah,
هل أزيدكم؟
should I increase you?
قالوا كل شيء عندنا يا رب.
They will say, we got everything we need, oh our Lord.
فيكشف الحجاب عن وجهه سبحانه وتعالى.
And then Allah will remove the partition, the hijab that's between them and Him.
فما رأوا منظرا قط أحسن من هذا المنظر.
And they will not have ever seen or witnessed a view that is more beautiful than what they see when they see the face of Allah.
فينسوا الجنة ونعيمها بسبب النظر إلى وجه
They're
الله.
going to forget the beauty of the Jannah and all of what's in the Jannah. They'll forget about it because of the beauty of the face of Allah Azza wa Jal.
فهو أعظم نعيم يعطى أهل الجنة إياه.
So his looking at his face is the a'zam ni'mah that they got, even more than all of that other stuff that they had in the Jannah. Looking at his face is going to be even greater than all of that.
وحتى يتنعم أهل الجنة بالجنة ولا تبور فإن الله يظهر لهم أحيانا.
كرر لي يا شيخ.
أعظم نعيم هو النظر إلى وجه الله جل وعلا. فإذا نظروا إلى الله نسوا الجنة. فالله سبحانه وتعالى يظهر لهم أحيانا لأجل أن يتمتعوا بباقي نعيم الجنة. أسأل الله لنا ولكم الجنة. أسأل الله لنا ولكم. فالله سبحانه وتعالى ينظر إلى أهل الجنة فيكشف الحجاب فيرونه فيسعدون وينسون الجنة ونعيمها. لكن الله حتى لا تبور هذه الجنة وتخسر الجنة فلا يتنعموا بالأشجار والأنهار وغير ذلك، الله يظهر لهم أحيانا.
So those people will forget when Allah removes the barrier, the hijab between him and the Jannah. The people are going to forget all of the things that they were enjoying in the Jannah. And then, what happened? Malish. So Allah will, those people, when they see Allah's face, they'll forget all of the na'im that they were already enjoying in the Jannah. The trees that are in the Jannah, the anhar that's in the Jannah, all of those things that they were enjoying in the Jannah, once they see Allah's face, they'll forget all about that and they'll become preoccupied with the ni'mah of seeing the face of Allah Azza wa Jal after that hijab has been removed.
قال لهم ما يشاءون فيها كل شيء يشاءونه فهو متاح لهم.
Everything that they desire, whatever their hearts desire in the Jannah, it will be brought forth to them. They'll be given it. They'll enjoy it.
حتى إن الرجل يكون في الدنيا مزارعا.
Even a man who in the dunya, he used to be a farmer.
فيتمنى أن يزرع في الجنة.
He'll desire to have a farm and to be a farmer in Jannah.
لكن الجنة ليس فيها تعب.
But he'll get his farm and everything. The only thing is he won't have to work the farm because there's no tired. He won't have no labor in the Jannah. But he'll get his farm because he wanted it.
فيأذن الله له بالبذرة.
So Allah Ta'ala would allow him to have these seeds that you plant.
فتنبت للفور شجرة كبيرة.
And as soon as it's planted, it just goes up and becomes a high tree just because he wanted it.
والمرأة تشتهي الولد.
And the lady, she'll just want a kid.
فتحمل وتضع في لحظة.
So she'll become pregnant and deliver the baby just like that.
ولدينا مزيد.
And Allah said, and we have mazid, we have addition to that.
فالجنة لها يعني كلام طويل لكن نكتفي بهذا.
So if you want to talk about the Jannah has a lot of kalam that we can give about the Jannah, but we're going to stop here to keep going.
قال تعالى وكم أهلكنا قبلهم من قرن أي أن الله سبحانه وتعالى يذكر كفار قريش كم أهلكنا قبلهم من قرن من قوم عاد وثمود وغير ذلك.
So the next ayat, Allah Ta'ala said, and how many generations of people have we destroyed?
هم أشد منهم بطشا قوة وجبروت.
Allah is telling Quraysh, how many of the nations that came before you, they were stronger than you. They had more power and ability than you had. But we destroyed them, like the people of Ad, the people of Thamud, and other people.
وإذا جاءهم عذاب الله سبحانه وتعالى نقبوا في البلاد بحثوا في البلاد هل من منقذ هل من محيص.
And when those people, did the things that they did, and it was time for them to be punished, was there anyone who was there to help them, save them?
يريدون الهرب من الموت والنجاة من هذا العذاب فلا يستطيعون.
They were trying, those people before, to escape death and to escape the punishment that came to them from Allah.
إن في هذا الكلام لذكرى.
Verily, in what happened to those people, and you being reminded, Quraysh and you people, what happened to them, this is a reminder, it's a dhikr, it's a dhikra.
الذكرى لرجلين.
The dhikr and the dhikra is for two types of people.
لمن كان له قلب.
The one who has a heart.
والقلب هنا بمعنى العقل.
And the heart here, the one who is a dhikra, for the man, the person who has a heart. And the meaning of heart here, he has aql, intelligence.
لأن العقل محله القلب.
Because the intellect, it resides in the heart. It's right here.
فالفقهاء يا أخواني والمفسرون يرون أن العقل في القلب وأما هذا في الدماغ إنما هو المخ.
So the mufassirun, the scholars of Islam, they see that the place of the intellect is in your heart. But your head, it stores the brain. But your intellect and faculties and capacity is in the heart.
فالقلب هو ملك الأعضاء.
So the heart is in charge of all of the members of your body, your limbs.
والعقل هو الآلة التي يفكر فيها القلب.
And the heart is the utensil that is used for a person to think and to contemplate.
فإذا قرر القلب شيئا أرسل إشارات إلى المخ.
So if the heart decides to do something, then the heart sends out the message to the brain, and that's how you function.
لتنفذ الجوارح ما يريده القلب.
So the brain tells the limbs, this is what you want to do, that's what you're going to do, based upon what the heart is telling it to do.
إذا الرجل الأول الذي يتذكر هو من كان له قلب يتدبر فيه.
So this is a dhikra to two types of people. The first person is the one who has a heart and the intellect. So he's the first person who has a qalb that is like that.
والثاني هو من يلقي السمع ليستمع النصائح.
And it's a dhikra to the second person. That is the one who has the ability to hear. And he pays attention to the dhikra.
وهو شهيد أي موجود وشاهد لهذه المواعظ وهذه الذكرى.
And he is present. He's a shaheed and he's present and he's taking account of the dhikra.
ولقد خلقنا السماوات والأرض وما بينهما في 6 أيام.
And Allah said in this next ayah, verily I, Allah, have created the heavens and the earth in 6 days.
7 سماوات و7 أراضين.
He created 7 heavens and 7 earths.
وما بينهما.
And everything between the 7 heavens and everything between the 7 earths.
وهذه مخلوقات عظيمة جدا.
And the reality is that all of this combined is great.
وما بينهما بين السماوات والأرض من الكواكب والمجرات وغير ذلك.
And between these heavens and the earth, you have these galaxies and the solar system, the planets and the stars and all of that.
خلقها الله في 6 أيام.
Allah created all of that stuff in 6 days.
ليعلمنا الله سبحانه وتعالى الحكمة.
So he can teach us wisdom.
وعدم العجلة.
And also that 6 days, it teaches us hikmah. And that is, don't be in a rush. Don't be in haste. This happened in 6 days. So don't be in haste.
والإتقان في العمل.
And when you do work, have itqan and put your best foot forward and be as perfect as possible.
لأن قد تصنع صنعة بسرعة هائلة لكن هي غير متقنة.
Because it's possible you could create something, you can manufacture, making it very quick, but it's not strong. It's not lasting.
والله قادر على أن يقول للسماوات والأرض وما بينهم كن فيكون.
Allah is capable of saying to the heavens and the earth, be, and it just comes into existence. He could have did that.
لكن أراد أن يعلم الإنسان.
But he wanted to teach mankind.
فقال اليهود إن الله سبحانه وتعالى خلق السماوات والأرض وما بينهما في 6 أيام واستراح في اليوم السابع.
The Yahud, they said that Allah created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and then on the 7th day, he took a rest.
فرد الله عليهم وما مسنا من لغوب.
And Allah refuted them in the next ayat and said, after when he created these heavens and the earth in 6 days, he was not touched, not affected by any fatigue or tiredness.
وهنا قاعدة عند أهل السنة والجماعة في الأسماء والصفات.
And here is a principle that the people of Ahl Sunnah and Jama'ah have concerning Allah's asma and his sifat, the sifat of Allah.
لابد أن تتعلموها وتحفظوها.
You guys, we have to learn these things, learn this principle, and learn it and understand it.
نفي الصفة يستلزم كمال الضد.
If you make the nephew of the sifa, if you deny the characteristic, then that necessitates that the name itself, you're going to have a problem in understanding it properly.
فإذا قلت إن الله لا ينام لكمال حياته.
Like, this is the principle. We say Allah doesn't sleep. We make the nephew of this sifa. We deny Allah doesn't sleep. Why? Because his hayat is complete. He doesn't need sleep. So you deny the characteristic to establish the kamal of the name. So Allah doesn't sleep. Why doesn't he sleep? Because his life is complete.
فمن الخطأ أن تعتقد أن الله لا ينام دون أن تعتقد أن الله حياته كاملة.
For an example, it is wrong, a mistake to say and to believe Allah doesn't sleep. That's true. But just Allah doesn't sleep. But if you don't believe He doesn't sleep because His life is complete, that's a mistake. Just to say He doesn't sleep, you have to believe and understand Allah doesn't sleep because His life is complete.
ومن المخلوقين من لا ينام إما لمرض وإما لأرق وإما لخوف وإما لسعادة وإما لسهر. فهل هذا يحمد؟
There are some of Allah's creation who don't sleep. They don't sleep. Allah doesn't sleep because His life is complete. There are people in creation who don't sleep. They don't sleep because of a sickness. They don't sleep because they're afraid. They don't sleep because one reason or another. But it's not because their life is complete.
إذا فهمنا هذه القاعدة أسألكم سؤالا. الله لا يظلم.
Okay, Ikhwani, if you understood that point of view, I want to ask you another question. I want to ask you this question. Allah, He does not oppress. No dhulm.
لماذا لا يظلم؟
Why does Allah not make dhulm, oppress? Why He doesn't make dhulm?
كم؟ لتمام عدله.
My man back there said because Allah's justice is complete, so He doesn't oppress.
فدائما الصفات السلبية يعني لا يظلم لا يأكل لا ينام لابد أن تثبت كمال الضد.
So these sifat that are called salbiya, I don't want to say positive. I mean, these attributes that Allah has negated, salbiya. Allah doesn't oppress. Allah doesn't sleep. Allah doesn't forget. All of these, He doesn't do these negative things. The reason you have to establish the opposite, He doesn't do that because the opposite of that, Allah is complete in those issues.
فقوله تعالى وما مسنا من لغوب ما مس الله من تعب. لماذا؟
So when Allah said, and He didn't become tired, He wasn't, no fatigue. Why not? Why He didn't become tired? He's asking you guys.
تفضل. لا لكمال قوته. ما يتعب لكمال قوته.
So He didn't get tired in the ayat. He created the heavens and the earth in 6 days and everything between it, 7 heavens, 7 earth, and all that. And He didn't become tired. Why didn't He become tired? Because of the complete quwwah, the power of Allah. So He's not going to become tired.
ثم وعظ الله سبحانه وتعالى نبيه صلى الله عليه وسلم وكل المسلمين.
And then after that, Allah Ta'ala, He promised the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and He promised all of the believers after that.
أنهم سوف يسمعون كلاما سيئا عن الإسلام وعن الرب وعن الدين.
Allah promised and said, you're going to hear, Ya Rasulullah, you're going to get people, you're going to hear bad kalam. Kalam about Allah, bad kalam about al-Islam, bad kalam about the Nabi of Islam sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You're going to hear that.
فاصبر على ما يقولون.
So be patient with what they say.
لا تحزن على قولهم.
Don't become sad because of what they're saying.
واستعن على ذلك بالتسبيح.
And get strength and make isti'ana. Get help, seek help by making a tasbih.
والصلاة.
And by praying.
وسبح بحمد ربك قبل طلوع الشمس وقبل الغروب. هذه صلاة الفجر والعصر.
Allah said, وَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ. Make the tasbih of your Lord. Subhanallah, subhanallah. Make alhamdulillah. Before the sun comes up and before the sun goes down. Before at Fajr time and Maghrib time. That's what these two ayahs, that's these times.
فسرت على أنها صلاة وفسرت على أنها تسبيح.
Some people say that it has been meaning do that at the salat by making salat, and some of the people say it's just making the dhikr, tasbih.
ولذلك هما أفضل صلاتين.
And this is why these two prayers are the best two prayers.
والله سبحانه وتعالى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إنكم سترون ربكم يوم القيامة.
Allah's Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, verily you people are going to see your Lord
لا تضامون في رؤيته أي لا تتزاحمون في رؤيته.
You are not going to like be struggling with each other to be able to get to see it. You'll be able to see it easily, everybody.
فأوصانا صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أردنا النظر إلى وجه الله جل وعلا
So the Prophet has given us advice, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you want to see the face of Allah,
بالمحافظة على الفجر والعصر.
then you should take care of Salatul Fajr and Salatul Asr.
وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم من صلى البردين دخل الجنة والبردان الفجر والعصر.
And the Nabi said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whoever prays the two cold prayers, the bardain, the two cold ones, he will go to Jannah. And the two cold prayers, Salatul Fajr and Salatul Asr.
ومن الليل فسبحه.
And then the next ayah said, and during the nighttime, make tasbih of Allah as well.
وأدبار السجود.
And at the end of your
بعد الصلاة.
and at the end of your salat, at the end of your salat, make the dhikr and the tasbih.
واستمع يوم ينادي المنادي ليوم في مكان من مكان قريب.
And listen for the day where the caller will call out from a place that is close.
يوم يسمعون الصيحة بالحق وهي النفخة الثانية.
And that will be the day in which they will hear the true scream.
ذلك يوم الخروج.
The day, and listen for the day when they will hear the sayha bil haq. The sayha here is talk about the second blowing of the horn. Dhalika yawm al-khuruj. That is one of the names of Yawm al-Qiyamah, the day of al-Khuruj.
إنا نحن نحيي ونميت وإلينا المصير.
Hey, my man, homie, can you hold tight on that right now? It's kind of distracting. Thanks, homie. It said, verily, Allah said, verily, we give life and we cause people to die.
فقول نحيي ونميت هي الواو هنا يا أخواني لا تقتضي الترتيب وإنما تقتضي مطلق العطف بمعنى أنه نميت ونحيي.
So here it says, verily, we give life and we give death. The wow, we give life and we give death. It doesn't mean a tartib, the chronological order, that life and then death, doesn't mean that. What it means is that these are things that Allah does. Death, life, it doesn't mean the tartib necessarily.
يوم تشقق الأرض عنهم سراعا هذا يخرجون من الأجداث أي من القبور مسرعين.
And on this day, the earth will split open and then the people will come out and they'll be coming out very quickly and they'll be coming out in droves.
ذلك حشر علينا يسير.
They're coming out and being gathered together, all of the human beings. That's something that's easy for Allah, to make the earth open and to bring them forward in the hashr.
فإنما هي زجرة واحدة فإذا هم بالساهرة.
It's just going to be just one call and they're all going to, at one time, in one moment, collectively come forward and they'll be marching forward.
فيجمع الله الأولين والآخرين في لحظة.
So Allah will gather the first people that ever lived and were created and died, and He's going to gather them with the latter people who were created and they died. They're all going to be raised up collectively at the same time, quickly, all together.
يجمعون في أرض بيضاء مستوية.
They are going to be brought forth in an earth that's going to be white and it's going to be the same level.
كأنها خبزة.
As if it's like bread.
لا ترى فيها عوجا ولا أمتا.
You won't find like in the earth, there are dips and valleys. It's going to be even.
وتدنو الشمس عليهم مقدار ميل.
And the sun will be very, very close to them, like a mile away. It's going to be very close to them.
الميل إما ميل المسافة هذا أو ميل المكحلة هذا الميل المكحلة.
The word meal could be like the measurement like a mile. Or it could be that thing, the meal that you put in the oil. That little, the sun would be that close, like the thing you put in the oil, that stick to take the oil out, to put the perfume on.
ويعرق الناس جدا بسبب حرارة الشمس.
And the people are going to be sweating because the sun is so close to them.
وهناك أناس يظلهم الله في ظله يوم لا ظل إلا ظله.
But there will be some people who will be under a shade that Allah provides for them, and on that day there won't be any other shade.
موجودين في 23 حديثا 23 صنف في عدة أحاديث.
If you were to gather the characteristics and descriptions of them, their description is 23 descriptions. So they are gathered up in different hadith. And there are 23 descriptions that they have. Those people will be under the shade of Allah on the day when there will be no shade.
منهم شاب نشأ في عبادة الله.
From those 23 descriptions is a young person who grew up in the worship and obedience of Allah.
ورجل قلبه معلق في
A
المساجد.
man whose heart is connected to the masjid.
وغيرهم كثير.
And other than them, many, 23.
ويقفون وقوفا طويلا فيعطشون.
And they will be standing for a long time and they're going to become thirsty.
ولا يتحملون الموقف أبدا.
And they won't be able to handle standing up all of that time and everything that's going on.
ولولا أن الله كتب أن لا موت لماتوا.
And if Allah Ta'ala wrote and decreed upon them death, they would have died.
فيضجون فيقولون أين نذهب؟ فيذهبون إلى آدم عليه الصلاة والسلام.
So they'll start to become unsettled. These people will become unsettled. They'll be like, well, where are we going to go? What are we going to do? And then they're going to say, let's go to Adam. So they'll go to Adam.
فيعتذر آدم ويقول يوم غضب الله غضبا لم يغضب مثله ولن يغضب بعده.
Adam is going to say, today Allah became angry with an anger that he never became angry like this before ever. I can't do it. Excuse me.
قال اذهبوا إلى غيري أنا أكلت من الشجرة وخالفت أمر الله.
He said, go to other than me. I went to the tree. I ate for the tree. And as a result of that, Allah became angry with me.
آدم عليه الصلاة والسلام أذنب ذنبا واحدا في حياته كلها والله تاب عليه وهو يخاف من الذنب.
Adam made only one sin in his whole life. And Allah forgave him for that one sin. Just one sin. What about other people?
فيقول اذهبوا إلى إبراهيم.
He'll say, go to Ibrahim.
وإبراهيم عليه الصلاة والسلام يقول مثل قوله فيعتذر.
Ibrahim will say similar to what Adam said, and he's going to excuse himself. And say, don't
اذهبوا إلى موسى.
go to Musa.
موسى يعتذر عليه الصلاة والسلام.
Musa's going to say, no, he's going to make an excuse. Don't come to me.
لأنه قتل نفسا قبل النبوة.
Because he killed a person innocently. He killed someone who didn't deserve that, but it was before he was a Nabi.
اذهبوا إلى عيسى.
He says, go to Isa.
وعيسى يعتذر عليه الصلاة والسلام ولم يذكر ذنبا.
Isa is also going to say, I can't do it, but he won't mention any sin or mistake that he made.
اذهبوا إلى محمد.
Go to Muhammad.
فينطلق النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بعد أن يأتيه الناس فيخر تحت الأرش.
So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after the people come to him, he's going to go to the Arsh of Allah Azza wa Jal, and then he's going to fall down in prostration at the Arsh, under the Arsh of Allah.
فيسجد ما شاء الله له أن يسجد.
And he'll be in that sajda for as long as Allah wants him to be in that sajda.
فيعلمه الله سبحانه وتعالى كلمات ما يعرفها في حياته.
And then Allah will teach Rasulullah in that situation words that Rasulullah didn't know during his life.
فيقال يا محمد ارفع رأسك.
And then Allah will say to him, Ya Muhammad, raise your head.
سل تعطى.
Ask and it will be given.
اشفع تشفع.
Make intercession and it will be executed.
فيطلب من الله جل وعلا لفصل القضاء.
He will ask Allah Ta'ala to make the judgment and to speed this process of the judgment up.
فيجيء الله سبحانه وتعالى والملك صفا صفا.
And then at that time, Allah will come, and with him will be the angels. They will come, and they will be in rows after rows after rows.
فيفصل بينهم فريق في الجنة وفريق في السعير.
And then that's when Allah will judge between them. A group of them will be in the Jannah, and a group of them will go to the hellfire.
ثم يقول تعالى نحن أعلم بما يقولون. أي أن الله سبحانه وتعالى يقول يا محمد لا تحزن عليهم. أنا أعلم بما يقولون هؤلاء الكفار.
And in the last ayat of the surah, Allah Ta'ala said, I know, we know more. We know everything about what they say. So Allah is telling the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, don't worry. I'm well aware of everything that these people have said and what they say.
وهنا كلمة يا أخواني لابد أن ننتبه لها. الدين دين الله.
And here is something that has to be said. We have to pay attention to it. And that is, the deen is Allah's deen. Deenullah.
ونحن نحب أن ننشر دين الله.
And we love for the deen to be spread. This is what we should want.
لكن بالطرق المشروعة.
But we want the spread of it. It should be spread in the way that's legislated.
وإذا جاء معارض لنا نعامله بالطريقة الشرعية.
So if someone comes in opposition to us, we should face him with that which is from the religion.
فهذا رسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول الله فاصبر على ما يقولون.
Because look at these ayahs.
فالإنسان
Allah Ta'ala told the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, have sabr with what they're saying. Have sabr and deal with it. Have sabr.
لا نبدأ بالقتال أو نبدأ بالضرب أو نبدأ بالشجار أو الفوضى.
When they say things, when they oppose us, we don't push back on that by fighting. We don't push back that by war, fighting, by having confusion, fawda, just in any way.
بل نتبع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في ذلك.
But we have to follow the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam when we see opposition to the deen.
ولذلك قال الله له نحن أعلم بما يقولون وما أنت عليهم بجبار أي متسلط عليهم.
And this is why Allah is saying in this last ayah, I know very well, I know best what they say. And you, Ya Muhammad, you are not jabbar over them, meaning you haven't been made to be jabbar. You're over them like that. That's not your job. I know what they're saying.
ولذلك يا أخواني الله سبحانه وتعالى ذكر الهداية مرة منسوبة إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم مرة نفاها عن النبي.
And that's why guidance, al-hidayah, once in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala put hidayah and made it with the Prophet. And another time, he mentioned al-hidayah and he negated, rejected that it's with the Prophet.
مرة قال إنك لا تهدي من أحببت.
In one ayat, Allah negated and said, verily you do not, you cannot guide those who you love.
والهداية هنا المقصودة المنفية هي هداية الإلهام والتوفيق.
And this hidayah that Rasulullah doesn't own, he doesn't have, is the hidayah to make someone, want to make someone guided, to be guided aright, to give him tawfiq. Rasulullah doesn't own that. So you can't guide those who you love, Ya Muhammad. You can't make them Muslim. You can't make them have the to be Muslim.
وهذه هداية بيد الله.
That is only with Allah. That guidance is only with Allah.
والهداية الثانية قال الله تعالى وإنك لتهدي إلى صراط مستقيم.
He mentioned at another time, verily, he established it, verily you do guide to the sirat al-mustaqim. You do guide.
وهي هداية الدلالة والإرشاد.
And this guidance is, Ya Muhammad, you guide by giving proofs. You guide by the dalil, by showing the way. You can show the way. That's what you do. Show the way.
الأمر بالمعروف هداية.
Making an amr enjoining the good and forbidding the evil, that's hidayah.
النهي عن المنكر هداية.
And forbidding the evil is guidance.
الدعوة إلى الإسلام هداية.
Giving dawah to al-Islam, that's hidayah.
لكن الاستجابة ليست لك.
But having someone to accept the dawah, to accept these efforts, that's for Allah only.
فالله يحاسبنا على هداية الدلالة.
Allah will make us responsible for the hidayah of guidance people based upon the dalil, proving it.
لكن لا يحاسبنا على الاستجابة.
But he won't make us responsible for the fact that people accept it, don't accept. That's not our job.
يقول صلى الله عليه وسلم ويأتي النبي وليس معه أحد يوم
The
القيامة.
Prophet said, Yawm al-Qiyamah, a prophet will come and there's nobody who believed in him. They were not guided.
فذكر بالقرآن من يخاف وعيد أي ذكر بالقرآن هذا السبيل الشرعي لا تتجه إلى أشياء أخرى.
So Allah says, so remind them with the Quran. Make the tadhkir, remind them with the Quran. This is your responsibility of giving that type of guidance with the proofs.
لذلك يا أخواني الداعية الصحيح هو الذي يتعلم القرآن ويعرف حكم القرآن وأمثلة القرآن ودلائل القرآن ويدل الناس عليها.
So the true person who's giving dawah, the da'i, he's the one who learns the Quran and he learns his religion and he calls people comparable to what he learns, calling them to the truth and calling them with the truth.
فبعض الناس ما يحفظ القرآن أو أنه لا يفهم القرآن فيذهب بالمسلسلات أو بالأغاني يريد أن يدعو
Some
الإسلام.
people, they don't know the Quran, they don't have any knowledge in Islam, and they want to give dawah to people. And the dawah that they do is with plays, musalsalat, with soap operas. They want to give dawah, and they don't know what they're doing.
فذكر بالقرآن من يخاف وعيد.
So remind of the Quran. Make the tadhkir, the one who is afraid of the wa'id. They're afraid of, the promise.
فالذي يخاف الوعيد هو الذي ينتفع بالتذكير.
So the one who is afraid of the wa'id, he's the one who is the one who will benefit from the wa'id.
اللهم نسألك يا الله بأسمائك الحسنى وصفاتك العلى أن تحيي قلوبنا بالقرآن.
آمين.
اللهم أحيي قلوبنا بالقرآن.
آمين.
اللهم أحيي قلوبنا بالقرآن.
آمين.
برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
آمين.
اللهم ثبتنا عند لقائك.
آمين.
اللهم اجعل خير أيامنا يوم نلقاك.
آمين.
اللهم اجعلنا ممن يفرح بلقائك يا رب العالمين.
اللهم
آمين.
هون
هون علينا سكرات الموت.
آمين.
اللهم هون علينا سكرات الموت. اللهم نسألك الجنة وما قرب إليها من قول أو عمل.
آمين.
ونعوذ بك من النار وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل.
آمين.
اللهم ثبتنا على الدين يا رب العالمين.
آمين.
اللهم اجعل هذا الاجتماع اجتماعا مرحوما.
آمين.
وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما.
آمين.
اللهم لا تجعل فينا شقيا ولا محروما.
آمين.
اللهم امين وصلى الله على محمد. جزاكم الله خير. بارك الله فيكم.
What time is the adhan?
جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم.
What time is the iqama? 1:30.